Welcome to Meditations. I'm Josh Hutchens. We come to the end of Peter's sermon today on the day of Pentecost. If you haven't been following along, you can go back a few videos and see what we've meditated on from the previous parts of the sermon. But today I want to come to the very last line in the very last part, and that is here in verse 36. Therefore, let all the house of Israel know with certainty that God has made this Jesus whom you crucified both Lord and Messiah. So that important word at the beginning, therefore, I was taught from a child, when you see a therefore, you stop and see what it's there for. So this therefore, it's the very final conclusion of the entire sermon. The Spirit has been poured out on all believers because Jesus has been delivered up. He died according to God's plan, but he didn't stay dead. He was not abandoned to decay, as Psalm 16 says. He wouldn't be abandoned to Hades or to decay. And therefore, we can be certain that this Jesus, who, unlike David, did not go into the grave, did not stay in the grave and decay, but this Jesus who has been raised up, he is now seated at the right hand of the Father in power. He is seated in the very position that the Son of Man is supposed to sit in Daniel chapter 7. He's seated on the throne of the Messiah, the King of Israel. So this, therefore, is the conclusion. Since you can see the effects of the Spirit, since you know about the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ now, since you can understand based on Psalm 118 that he has been exalted and seated at the right hand of the Father in heaven, therefore you can know with certainty. Some translations said you can be assured, but I like this translation in the CSB. The house of Israel can know with certainty that it's absolutely true that God has made Jesus, the one that was crucified, that everybody can still remember. It was just a few weeks ago that this man was crucified, but now he is alive. He has ascended into heaven. He is seated at the right hand of the Father. So you can know with certainty that God has declared him both Lord and Messiah. When Jesus was on the earth, maybe you could say someone didn't have certainty about that. They were still waiting to see what might happen. Of course, Jesus gave plenty of evidence as to who he was, but it is the resurrection in particular, and then the ascension into heaven, that makes it beyond doubt that Jesus is who God has declared him to be. He is the Son of God. He is the Son of Man. He is the Messiah in the line of David. And so I don't know if you have thought about this, but there's so many times in our lives that maybe we're just holding on to a little bit of doubt. Maybe we're just holding on to a little bit of, well, if this isn't true, then I don't have all my eggs in one basket. But what we are being called to do is to accept by faith what has been proven to us with certainty, that through the resurrection and the ascension and Jesus' seating at the right hand of the Father, which is demonstrated through the sending of the Spirit, we know with certainty who Jesus is. And therefore, we've got to build our lives on that certainty. And that includes, of course, being his witnesses, going forth as witnesses to the ends of the earth. Because if Jesus really is the Lord and Messiah, then that demands that we proclaim his lordship, we proclaim his kingship over all of the earth. If you've enjoyed this teaching, then go ahead and visit gospellife.org/books and place an order for my most recent book, the Bible Guidebook, which is a part of our Gospel Life Guidebook series that we are starting out. The Bible Guidebook is a book that will introduce you to the world of the Bible. It will introduce you to how to study the Bible, the cultural and historical background to the Bible, and then a basic understanding of every book of the Bible.